Hey guys, it's Retro Rose here, and welcome back to another Mushy Monday. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so it's going to be a short part today. Last time we did walks, I did make a few different decisions compared to my initial playthrough, but it still, again, turned out the same. It was fun to do from a different perspective, but we're going to continue to the moment wheels for step one. Okay, so I don't need to make any changes to my character for this moment. All right, it says, it was another cloudy Saturday in Golden Grove when three kids reconvened in the middle of their cul-de-sac. The moment had come to fulfill the promise you had made to go riding around the park together. Baxter and Darren were going to meet you part way there again. She said so as soon as he showed up. And this time you told Ma before leaving the house that you were going to be out of the neighborhood. She'd given you a big hug and said have fun and thanked you for always keeping her up to date on your busy schedule. Xiyu narrowed his eyes. It intensified the spark inside them, like a magnifying glass directing a laser beam of the sunlight. The bridge in the forest was most amazing to Samurai, but this was Shiyu's special thing. Let's go get our bikes. He added a bit more, with a much softer humor, and Scooter. The three of you split off to your own houses along the curve of the cul-de-sac. Each kid disappeared around the corner or through the door. You got your bike and made it to the meeting spot without any problems. Tamrak and Shiyu weren't there. You were going to have to wait. Standing there with the hand on the handlebar and nothing else to do, you glanced over your ride. It filled you with confidence. Your bike was super cool. Your helmet, Ma had gotten you a completely normal shaped one. It was just plain color. It was only a few minutes until the three of you were together again on the road, each with your wheels of choice. She rolled forward to be right between you and Tamarack, and to be the very center of attention. His bike was his pride and joy. He bragged about it basically as soon as you knew him, and finally the day had come where he was able to show it off. It was exactly how Shiyu always described, black and silver splatters. The bike was polished to a reflective gleam. That made the nicks and scratches it had stand out. He'd used his wheels a lot, even though he'd taken care of it. Shiyu launched into a dynamic spiel on the qualities of the bike, listing off one feature after the other. His ride had great treads and a lot of different gears and amazing suspension. Was he trying to ride it or sell it? You snickered, but you could tell it wasn't just talking. It did look bigger and sturdier than a typical kid style you could get at any store. The helmet under Shiyu's arm was unique too. It was for serious dirt biking, with the face cover and everything. When Shiyu's explanation eventually ended, Tamrak chimed in to give her ride an introduction of its own. Hers was a whole lot shorter. Mine's really pretty, huh? She drummed her fingers against the handlebars. Shiyu's bike was so incredible, it must have been forged from some powerful materials. Meanwhile, Tamrak's scooter looked like it came from Candyland. The main part was pastel pink with purple squishy handles and purple not squishy wheels. There wasn't even a hint of dullness or one scuff anywhere. It would have looked brand new, except it was covered in tons of stickers. From the top to bottom, rainbows, cutesy animals, sparkling holographic hearts were pasted next to skulls, fire, and danger signs that might have glown in the dark. You had a hard time thinking she protected her scooter more than she cherished his bike. It was possible covering it in stickers was the only thing she had ever used it for. Tamarak's helmet didn't have stickers because she decided that it was cool enough already. The extra round shape had stripes of different colors and oh yeah, a huge round of spikes. If you counted those, she might have also been as tall as Shiyu for once. In thinking of Shiyu, he shivered at Tamarak's decked out scooter. He tried to talk in his normal voice. It would be very polite to voice how horrified he obviously was, but Shiyu couldn't hide it. You're never going to be able to scrape that off. I don't want to lose the stickers. They make it better. But they're going to get old and fade and tear, and then what? I'll add more. Emmerich had an answer to every question. But then Shiyu closed his mouth. He must have thought the same thing you just did. Never mind. Both have such great rides. Thank you. Tamarack cheered. All that was missing was the horn she could have honked to punctuate her excitement. It would have fit perfectly, but that was more of a bike thing. You get it, my bike is the best. Hugh's words came out extra eager. He'd been waiting for praise to come in. That was when the attention went to what you'd brought. Tamarack and Shiyu silently scrutinized your bike. They were gonna like it, you were sure. How could anyone not? Shiyu scrutinized it like he was a professional bike judge or something. It's in really good shape. I like it, Rose. It's gonna be real fun to ride together. And it's great to know I have the best bike on the whole block. His words were genuine praise, despite not being able to give them without teasing. I don't know how you're supposed to ride something like that. Tamarack thought 100% impressed. Then Shiyu refocused on being in charge of this trip. Okay, no more messing around, let's suit up. The trio of the cul-de-sac strapped on helmets. When Shiyu got his bulky helmet on, he gave the thing a smack on the side of his head, and he had to make sure it worked, you guessed. Tamarack tugged tight at the chin strap so it practically fused with her face. It won't be budging. It will not be budging no matter what happened. You're curious about what would happen. A tiny expedition put sneakers to the pedals, shoes to the pavement, and you were on your way. Your neighborhood was behind you in a matter of seconds. The whole wide world was in front of you. With your wheels under you, you were free to go anywhere. Riding into town on the bumpy road up and down side to side made you think of 3 leaves being swept along by the flow of a river. Everyone giggled and hooted each time you tip over a hump of a hill. I can't get over the fact that she has a row of spikes, but that is so like her. When gravity took over, Tamarack leaned to the side and stuck her chest past the scooter's bar to get full blast of wind. Shiyu kicked his legs up and let the pedal spin completely out of control. You lowered yourself to catch some extra speed. You flew by a mix of houses, trees, until there was no more forest or homes. What surrounded you were rows of business buildings. The massive arch declaring this place Golden Grove acted as a finish line for the leg of the journey. Everybody dismounted but left helmets on. This wouldn't take long, according to Shiyu. Even so, he announced it be the best to wait somewhere else. The 3 of you moved to get out of the street. Bikes and scooters and things like that could be taken somewhere far, but cars were the unchallenged rulers of the road. It took your feet a second to feel normal walking around on solid ground again. They were still tingling from the vibration of the bike here. But everyone safely got themselves and their wheels on the sidewalk. You'd officially arrived at the first milestone. The treasure chest shop was right down the sidewalk on the corner. You still remember stocking up for supplies, rock, paper, scissors, and the trip to the special place in the forest, but you had other destinations ahead that day. You remained huddled near the front of the barber shop waiting. Anytime some random person came by, it was a challenge to let them pass. Your rides took up the whole space. Well, it took up a whole lot of space. But Shiyu had been right. Soon you heard the clicky zip of bike wheels coming closer, zooming down a side street where the missing members of Shiyu's boys club. Baxter's bike was blinding bright white on the body. The chains, wheels, and other mechanic stuff were black. He casually leaned back so that the one arm he used to hold on the bike would stretch out fully. Darren's ride was an electric blue with orangey yellowy reflector strap on the front and back. He lifted himself off the seat and stretched over the handlebars. 2 had swapped their normal headgear with helmets, and the older boys looked kind of different. In other words, too. Baxter had always worn a sweater whenever you'd see him. He chose to go without it for the bike ride. You weren't sure why. For Darren, it took a bit longer to realize what had changed, but you got it. He had taken off those fuzzy black gloves. You could imagine why Darren would do that. Shiyu whooped seeing them. He tried to wave and get closer, but kept his bike steady. Didn't make it easy. The big thing did help make him easy to spot, though. Darren and Baxter came to a screeching stop in front of you before going over a curb and knocking your group over like bowling pins. Hey, hello. The whole set of them were decked out in smiles. After your first time out together at the bridge, it had become a lot easier for the older boys to be around Shiyu's neighbors. Hello. Tamarack's reaction was beyond just being curious or bored, like how she might greet any stranger who happened across her path. She did know these boys. It was nice. The way you could get to know somebody, the way you could change, the way things could change by the day by day. Ooh, goodness. The tallest of the boys started to chat with his buddies. That helmet's pretty cool. Darren nudged his uncharacteristically ungloved hand in Tamarack's direction. You think Mom would let me get one? Oh yeah, it's awesome. And no way, she'd never let you go out like that, like such a rebel. Yeah, it wouldn't happen. No fair. Sorry, but Rose is good too. The three of them gabbed about helmets and bikes among themselves. Meanwhile, Tamarack ran her finger along the sides of her spiky helmet and grinned. Darren might not have said it to the girl herself, but he had said it about her. That was something. Baxter didn't even have to pretend to be Darren to give a compliment. At some point, the topic of conversation became about the actual rides rather than the safety gear. Tamarack doesn't have a bike. How's she gonna keep up? Tamarack squinted her eyes, insulted by such questioning. Hey, scooters are just as good as bikes. Darren couldn't meet her dark red gaze. He could only mumble out of one corner of his mouth. Not for going fast. Before Tamarack could disagree again, only for Darren to say something else she didn't like. Shiyu laughed. Wow, Darren, it's so nice of you to want to make sure nobody gets left behind, but you know, Shiyu slowly smiled while gradually getting higher on his toes until he was nearly eye level with Darren. I could ask the same question every time I ride with anyone else, because no one is as fast as me. Shiyu cut his hand through the air like he was striking down an invisible field of opponents. Then he jabbed a hook finger into Darren's chest. Maybe the challenge wasn't pretend after all. But I don't ask it, and I have fun anyway. And so do other people, all right? It's gonna be good. This time, Darren whispered from the opposite side of his lips. All right. That's fine with me, too. She doesn't need to use a bike. Okay, good. Tamarack said while graciously letting Darren out from under her gaze instead of him. Tamarack focused on the road. And after spending the entire time giving his words and attention to Shiyu, Baxter spoke directly to you and Tamarack. We're not going to stop again before we're reaching the park. Yep, we're not sticking around this place. The proud scooter girl squeezed her squishy handles until the plastics morphed around her fingers. You were setting out once again. Shiyu led the way past Main Street and down multiple other streets you didn't know the names of. The boys' club took every sudden turn and bend as easy as they could in a circle, though they never left Tamarack behind. In fact, Tamarack stayed as close to them as possible, forcing blind determination to match their knowledge of what exactly they were doing. And eventually, the sky opened up in front of you. Buildings that blocked you out were pushed aside to make room for a forest living directly inside of Golden Grove. The main street was the heart of the town. This was the soul. You shot straight through the entrance. The path was wide enough for the 5 riders to spread out from a cluster to a row. Orange, red, and yellow fallen leaves covered the ground. They scattered in a whirlwind from the wheels that rustled over them like a cloud of monarch butterflies had taken to the skies. The wind would past your ears carried a shout of exhilaration from Shiyu. Tamarack's scooter vibrated going over whatever the roads were made of there. It was buzzing. You raced like the wind, even more energized than when you started. Free from the obstacles of cars, tight sidewalks, and boys' club pulled further and further ahead of Tamarack. Her scooter with a single little leg pushing it along just couldn't match the speed of a double-pedal bike's. Before Tamarack was actually left behind, Shiyu called out again. Brake! One after the other, Shiyu, Darren, and Baxter slammed on their brakes, coming to a dramatic stops. It was exactly what the 2 older boys had done when they first showed up. Tamarack jumped right off her scooter. She clutched the handles and ran alongside it until she had gotten her steed to halt. We're here, it's the park. You were the last to stop moving, doing it the most slowly and carefully. Everybody climbed off of their stuff. Everyone who didn't already do it was and then regrouped in an almost circle. Jiyu's boys were at his side and they faced you and Tamarack. The club leader kept his bike upright with one arm and had the other free so it could move all around as he spoke. This is it. Welcome to Golden Grove Park. And that's the name. It isn't called anything else. There aren't other parks around, so. Chiyu flicked a hand casually. You get the point, is what he was signaling without words. It's beautiful here. I like it. But Norma Forest is still best. And the special thing is the most special. Tamarack added the last part decisively, and there could not be any misunderstandings happening about her ranking of good stuff. That's not bad. A new Golden Grove would have something you both like. Chiyu grabs his bike with both hands, raring to go again after only a few seconds. You like it even better once you see more. There's a couple of paths going around here. One of them is a big loop through the entire park. We could ride down that. It doesn't take long. And then we pass by a cool gazebo on the other end. What are we going to do after that? We'll see what happens when we get there. The half plan got a mixed reaction. Baxter smirked unaffectedly, which he would have done no matter what, you were sure. And Darren went back to his old way of being sour. Chiyu gave his friends a side eye and could smile. Again, he didn't need to talk to say what he wanted to express. Come on, Darren, what's going on? Was the general message. Darren sucked in a breath while his chin sunk lower, as if the helmet was crushing his head. We came all this way to the park. We should race like we always do. His voice crackled like it always did when he felt a lot of emotions. It must have been a tradition important to the club, or at least to one member of it. Sorry, Darren, we can't this time. Why not? Why? Chiyu tripped on Tamarack's question. To him, she of everyone should get why. Because how are you going to race on a scooter? I don't want to race. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to. We're not racing today. You can race without me. What? You want us to do something that'll leave you out? You knew Tamarack sometimes went off by herself, but the idea of not getting to be part of the main event was horrifying to Chiyu, then covering his beloved bike in stickers. Yeah, you boys can do your boy club stuff. Chiyu opened his mouth, poised to disagree with the suggestion that he'd gone off without her, and with the implications that she was a part of the club. But Tamarack was more forceful with her thought than Chiyu, and she kept going. You don't have to do what me and Rose do all the time. You wanted us to see the park, and we did. And we went to the special place together. We're still friends if we don't play together the whole day at the park. Darren was open-mouthed stunned over Tamarack's disagreeing blatantly with Chiyu. It still couldn't match how befuddled Chiyu was. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am feeling a bit tired, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. I know this was probably the shortest video I've ever made for our life series, but we'll definitely pick up next Monday when I'm feeling a bit more energized. I thank you for watching this short part for Our Life Now and Forever demo update, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.